Hello, my humorous humans. Welcome to Comedy 101. This is where you're going to be learning how to make people laugh so hard they apply to Cal Poly. It's going to be great. Humor, comedy, is probably the number one tool in your toolkit as a tour guide because the more a prospective student laughs, the more likely it is they will apply to Cal Poly. And the more a supporter laughs, the more likely they will force their student to apply to Cal Poly. I don't have any statistics to back that up, but I was kind of going on vibes, and I think it's true. Now, we're going to break down some of the tips and tricks I've used to get laughs every once in a while. And the first kind of most important thing is to be yourself. Stick to whatever your sense of humor is because you are funny and you can never let anyone tell you you're not funny. That is maybe the cardinal rule number one. Don't let anyone tell you you're not funny. I've had experiences before where I told a joke and it got absolutely no response. Zero. Just nothing but blank stares. And that's a terrible feeling because it feels like they're just saying, you're not funny. But it's not true. You are funny. And I know this because one time I performed a joke in front of some of my friends. And I was like, what do you think? And one of them said to my face, they're like, that was terrible. You are not funny. And instead of getting hurt, I was like, okay, I'll take your feedback. But then I went and I performed that joke and it killed. And I was like, look who's laughing now. A lot of other people, which was huge. So, moral of the story is don't let anyone tell you you're not funny. You are funny. Be confident in yourself. Stick to your sense of humor. Even if they don't think it's funny, a small group of people doesn't think it's funny, doesn't mean you're not funny. All right, that's rule number one. Rule number two, in comedy, there's a famous kind of ism that is to punch up instead of punch down. Punching down is kind of like making fun of some marginalized group, and that's not cool because that will definitely offend somebody, and that's the last thing we want to do on this tour. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We don't want to send them running. We want to make them feel loved. Punching up is also a little bit iffy on our tours. Like an example of punching up would be like making fun of the Cal Poly football team. We don't really want to do that either. And so I'd say the only kind of punching up that's really good, or at least is acceptable, is being able to make fun of yourself. As long as you're okay with that, making fun of yourself is always a good way to get people laughing, break the ice a little bit, and makes you feel vulnerable and comfortable with them and they trust you. So if you're willing to make fun of yourself, that's a good route, but try not to make fun of any groups of people. That's super important. Now, jokes can come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. You know, you've got your like longer story-based observational humor, which is what I love and fits in perfectly with our story-based approach to tours. But you've also got your funny one-liners, kind of like knock-knock joke little things, and they have their place too. And you can kind of figure out which ones you like to tell. But either way, I love opening almost every single stop on the tour with some sort of joke. And typically, I personally like some observational humor ones, so I'm going to give you a couple of my jokes real quick. Do what you will with them. But yeah, so when I go up to the UU, I talk about how there is the only public bowling alley, the only bowling alley generally in all of San Luis Obispo on campus in our University Union building. And once upon a time, my friend Dom, former Poly rep Dominic Davidson, he and his frat booked 5 lanes of this 10-lane bowling alley. And the other 5 lanes were booked by a 10-year-old birthday party. And so the frat guys and the 10-year-olds were bowling a little bit. Then the 10-year-olds started talking trash to the frat guys. So they had themselves a little bit of a bowl off. Turns out the 10-year-olds were way better at bowling than the frat guys. Frat guys walked out of that room crying. Yeah, but now you know there's a bowling alley in SLO. So you just got to tell a funny little bit about the situation that happened, but you also got to inform the crew on this super cool bowling alley right on campus. So that's kind of the goal with that. Another classic to have in your toolkit is going up to the rec center. Another famous tour guide story is our dear friend Anna Jewell, former Poly rep. Early in her freshman year, she went to the rec center and she wanted to get into running, and she discovered that we have an indoor track. So she ran 4 laps around this indoor track in 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and she was like, Oh my goodness, she called her mom. Oh my gosh, I am so fast. I'm gonna go join the track team. They don't know what they have in me. And then she found out that the track is only 200 meters, not 400 meters. So she ran half a mile. So sad. Ego was crushed, but she knew how to work out for the future. And now you don't need to make that mistake either. So yeah, boom, another classic. Get to punch up at some fellow tour guides and their silly little poly experiences. But yeah, gets the group laughing and you get to inform them, and then you can start diving in talking about the rec center. So yeah, that's my little intro to comedy, giving you some things to work on. If you have any other joke ideas that you want to talk through, I'm always down to talk comedy. If you want more stories, let me know. All right, enjoy the rest of these videos. Bye.